welcome back to my channel. Before I jump into today's video, I just want to do a quick update. On my last video, I told you I was making cards for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, and I actually used some Spectrum Noir clear glitter brush pen on my card. I actually found out after the fact that the hospital does not want any glitter of any kind. So I had a couple of options of how to fix that card. I had stamped 2 extra images, so I could have recolored it, but before I did that I decided to try just going over the image with an eraser. And that actually worked really well. It took all the glitter off, so that glitter was not as secure as I thought it was. So I can understand why the hospital is asking for no glitter on their cards. So if you happen to have put some on, there's a quick way to fix it for you. So for today's card, I'm going to be using the Lawn Fawn Hedgehogs little mini set there, and also the Bloom 6x6 by Crate Paper. I wanted to show you guys how you can create a Valentine card even if you don't have any Valentine specific pattern paper. So I stamped out my little hedgehogs, and I'm going to color them with my Copic markers. I started out with my E55 as my shadow for the skin area. I was just doing a little bit under the quills, but that was the marker that I still need to replace the tips on. I didn't get a chance to do that over the holidays, so some Copic maintenance is going to be definitely forthcoming in this new year. So I just skipped right ahead to the E53 for my shadow and then blended everything together with the E51. And once I had that down, I decided to do a second layer just because I didn't feel like that E55 was completely blended out. It was a little sticky, so I just went right over that again. I'm going to color the second hedgehog exactly the same, so just grabbing that E53 for the shadows and then blending in the skin portion with the E51. And I also decided to do a double layer on him just so he would match. And then I just decided to take that E51 and color in the quill portion just so it had a very light colored base to start with. For the quills, I'm going to use E44, E47, and E49. And I'm just going to do some flicking motions. I'm not going to blend any color in for this portion of the hedgehog's bodies. I'm just going to flick it in as I would do hair, but just kind of trying to make it look sharper at the end by kind of pulling up my pen to make a point so that it looks more like the quill shape. So I'll do the same on both hedgehogs, and then I'll move on to the E47. And don't be afraid to turn your paper so that it's the comfortable position for you to do your flicking in. Sometimes it's a lot easier for you depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed or just your natural comfortable style. So feel free to turn the paper so that you can get the best, most comfortable direction to do that kind of coloring in. For my darkest shade, I'm going to take the E49 and I'll just add some of that in here and there. I definitely want to keep some of the other shades in there as highlights, but I want to create some shadows and some depth with that E49. As a finishing touch, I'm going to grab my R20 and just add in a little rosy cheeks. I've taken a piece of pattern paper from one of my Christmas packs that had this beautiful birch tree pattern, and I've die cut that down with the Lawn Fawn Stitch Journaling Card die, and I also die cut a grass portion with the Grassy Hillside Borders dies. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment, Sending Hedgehogs, with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'll just stamp that down right at the bottom of that grassy border. And then I'll just take that and glue that down with some Tombow Mono multi-glue. I got myself a new bottle, so it's pretty thick and coming out of the bottle, so I'm just using it sparingly. And then I'm going to grab my 2 hedgehogs and I'm just going to stick them into the grass so that some of the grass is in front of their bodies and then some of it is behind, especially not covering their faces. I want to make sure that those are clear. And that just creates a little more depth in the scene, making sure that some things are in front and some things are behind. Next, I'm going to take the tiny little heart that's included in the set and I'm going to stamp that with some Memento Tuxedo black ink. I'm going to stamp a trio of hearts, and I'm just being careful to stamp those in places that will be easy to color over. And then I'm just going to grab my R25, and I'm just going to color those in very carefully and lightly. I don't want any bleed out since this is much thinner paper than you would usually use these markers on. Okay, so what do you do if you want to create cards for this card drive but you don't have any Valentine specific pattern paper? So there are a lot of patterns that you could probably find in your stash that will work. You just want to look for things that have some pops of pink or hearts or anything like that that might work. So my card base is a piece of MFT's Pink Lemonade cardstock folded to a standard landscape style card. And I'm going to glue my first pattern paper with these chevrons down flat to my card base. Then I cut down 2 pieces of pink gingham pattern paper with the Lawn Fawn stitch scallop border dies. I used the second smallest in that set of 3. And I'm going to use my grid mat to line those up with this kind of stonewash denim floral piece that's going to go across the center of my card. So I'll just add each of these to the either side of that panel. I use my ATG gun just so I wouldn't have the mess of liquid adhesive if any of that kind of squeezed out on the edges. And since I had that out already, I just went ahead and used that to attach that to my card base. So I'll just line that up in the center and then smooth that into place. I've added some Scotch 3M foam tape to the back of my focal panel, so I'll just peel off the backer sheets and then I can line that up in the center of my card. I'm going to take the Happy Valentine's Day sentiment from the My Silly Valentine stamp set from Lawn Fawn, and I'm going to stamp that in my card with some plastic flamingo ink. And then I'm going to take these little footprints from Joy to the Woods. I love these little footprints. I just thought they'd be a fun little detail to add to the inside of my card. And then I'm going to take out my left-facing hedgehog, and I'm just going to add him to the inside as well. And that's going to complete our card. So it's definitely a more subtle look without the Valentine pattern paper, but I think it could definitely pass for a Valentine card, especially with the sentiment on the inside and the pink card base. So thanks for watching. I've heard from a lot of you that you'll be participating in the Cards from the Heart card drive, which benefits not only St. Jude's Children's Hospital, but actually 17 different children's hospitals and 2 foster homes last year. And for more information, you can visit the link below the video. Here's a couple extra videos in case you'd like to check those out, and you can always click on my photo to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye-bye.